Hey YouTube, it's the Fearless Freshman again. So, you're about to be a freshman in college yourself, but there's a little bit of a problem. You have no idea what you want to major in. So, hopefully I'll be able to help you with this video. Alright, so this is going to be based off a conversation I had with a student that's actually about to start college next month, really next week. Alright, so her problem was she's all excited about college, all her family's putting all this pressure on her, but the problem is she has no idea what she wants to go for. Alright, so based on my experience, based on the experience of students that I've had in college, my advice to you and to her would be, if you're really not sure, go undecided. And let me say this first. There is nothing wrong with being a freshman and having no idea what you want to do, okay? You got to think about it. For the last, 12, 13 years, you've been going through grade school, taking all these classes, being told what to take, when to take, how to take it, and you're expected to make certain grades, and you were told what to study and what to do. So all of a sudden now you're 17, 18, 19 years old, and you're expected to make big decisions that could affect the next couple of years of your life. So it's understandable if you don't know fresh out of high school. There's so much pressure being put on you to get out of high school that you really haven't had a lot of time to think about, okay, what do I want to do in college? Or what do I want to major in? All right, so with that said, again, my advice would be to go undecided. Whichever college you get accepted to, it's a good idea to check with advisors or even the Office of Admissions or Academic Affairs and see if it's possible for you to go undecided. And that simply means you're not yet sure what you want to major in, okay? Some schools will call it undecided as a major, some will call it undeclared, some will even call it general studies, meaning that you're kind of studying a little bit of everything in general to give you a good idea of what you may want to do. All right, and also keep in mind, your first 2 years of college, everybody's going to take a lot of the same classes. There's certain classes that everyone has to take regardless of their major. So you could have a roommate that's a music major, someone else across from you could be a physics major, but they all have to take certain English classes like English Comp, either 101 or 1101. They may all have to take certain U.S. history and world history classes. There are certain math classes that everybody has to take regardless of what their major is going to be. Most college students are not going to get really deep into their major, like taking specific classes for that subject until like the end of their sophomore year, beginning of their junior year. So really that first year and a half to 2 years, it's just kind of like giving you a little bit of cushion or wiggle room to figure out what is it that you want to do. And also, don't let people intimidate you or make you feel bad because you don't know what your major is. Because honestly, if I could do it again, I would go undeclared my first year, maybe even my first year and a half to 2 years, because I originally started out as a nursing major. And I was all excited about being a nurse, but really I realized later on that I was only doing it because everyone else wanted me to do that. That's what my family wanted for me. They were all excited for me to be a nurse and I was going to go into the military and all this stuff, but I realized I was doing everything for everyone else. I wasn't doing it because it's what I wanted to do or what I wanted to major in. So with that, I was a nursing major or a pre-nursing major for 2 years. And then by the time I decided to change my major in the middle of my sophomore year, I switched from nursing to English. So it really set me back. I went from taking all this math and science to now going back and having to take all these English classes. I already had to take the basic ones in my freshman year, but I had to take all these extra English to get that degree. Then I ended up transferring like the next year after that. So it really just pushed me back even further. So it took me forever to get my undergraduate degree, but I did. And I got it in something that interests me. So again, this is why I said in a previous video, think about what your interests are, what your hobbies are, what could you see yourself doing, for a prolonged amount of time, for years and years. You may change your career several times in your life, but what could you really see yourself doing? But just keep in mind, it's okay if you don't know right away what you want to major in. Just make sure that you check with an advisor. You can to find out who your academic advisor is going to be once you first get to your campus, and you need to meet with them at some point and just explain to them that you're still trying to figure out what you want to do and how you should go about declaring yourself as undeclared or undecided or general studies or whatever it may be called. All right. Also, keep in mind, even if you go undecided, there will be a time limit usually, okay? In most cases, they don't want you going undecided for 5 and 6 years, okay? It's really meant for you to just take a year or two at the most. Really, you should, by your third year, you should at least have an idea. But it's just meant to give you extra time to take these classes. Because remember, when you're taking those general study classes that everybody has to take, well, that should kind of give you an idea of what things interest you, okay? So again, just go ahead, meet with your advisor, try to set up a timetable, like say, you know, okay, by this date or by this semester, I want to go ahead and pick a major. I want to have a deadline, or I want to have an idea of what it is I want to major in. And it might help to see if you can get maybe a campus job or a campus internship, because that can help you too. And also talk with your professors, because, professors in all the different fields that you're taking classes in, because they might be able to, you know, help you figure that out too, all right? And another thing is, if you declare a major, because some schools do not have undecided or undeclared or general studies, some require you to pick a major. If you pick a major, that doesn't mean you have to stick with that major. You may get in like after your first semester and realize you don't want to do it, or maybe you might get, you know, like me, into your middle or into your sophomore year and realize you don't want to do that. It is okay for you to change your major, all right? It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It's better to change it early on, or even go undecided if possible, and know for sure what you want to major in later on, than to do like I did and spend all this time and money, especially those out-of-state fees, and then change halfway through, and then it's almost like you're starting over. Okay, so I did not finish in the traditional 4 years. Most people are not finishing in the traditional 4 years. Most people that I know finished in like 4.5 to 5 years. I finished in almost 6. Okay, I was like 5.5, because, you know, I switched, and then also I ended up transferring, but that's another story for another day. I may do a video about transferring. But please do not beat yourself up if you don't know. Sometimes you may feel pressure from your family to pick something, or you know, you may feel, you know, bad or pressure from your friends or roommates or whoever. But as long as you know that there's an end goal in sight, like, okay, I'm going undeclared, but it's to help me figure it out. And my goal is to know or to declare something by this semester or by this date. So, you know, just because you're going undeclared doesn't mean you're just going to school just to go, all right? You're doing it with a purpose, all right? So it's better to do that and save money and time than to take a bunch of classes that, you know, you're gonna not want to, you know, you're not even gonna finish in that major, all right? That's another thing. When you meet with your advisors, whether you're going undeclared or if you are picking a major, make sure that when you sign up for your classes every semester that you are taking the correct classes. Do not take just random things just to be taking them, all right? You know, you don't want to take a bunch of electives, all right, just because you're going undeclared. You want to make sure that you have a strong GPA regardless of what your major is, but take classes on purpose. Be very deliberate about which classes that you pick. Of course, you want to have 1 or 2 electives every semester, but as a, you know, just kind of as a cushion for your GPA, but be very specific and deliberate about what you're taking and why you're taking it, you know. So the best thing to do is meet with your advisor. Do not just go to class day after day, you know, kind of suffering in silence and not talking about it, because a closed mouth doesn't get fed. If you don't ask for help, if you don't ask for advice, you're not going to get it, all right? So with that said, hopefully this was some help to you guys. It puts you a little bit at ease about picking a major. And once again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, be sure to comment. You can subscribe. Also, you may email me at thefearlessfreshman@gmail.com. Hopefully this helps. Have a great day.